Level 1. The washer. You're 19. The windowless basement in Queens smells heavily of industrial bleach, acetone, and cheap ammonia. The ventilation fan hums with a grinding metallic rattle. You sit on a plastic milk crate wearing heavy, chemical-resistant black rubber gloves. Your job is the absolute lowest, most tedious rung of the entire illicit financial ladder. You don't print money. You erase it. You take genuine low-denomination $1 bills, and you scrub the ink off them to harvest the sacred canvas, the heavily restricted 75% cotton, 25% linen blend paper. The United States government embeds red and blue security fibers directly into this paper. You cannot buy it. You cannot manufacture it without a massive paper mill, so you steal it. You submerge stacks of single dollars into a boiling, highly caustic chemical bath. You use a soft bristle toothbrush to painstakingly scrub the portrait of George Washington until the paper turns completely white. If you scrub too hard, the paper frays and the texture is destroyed. If you don't scrub enough, the magnetic ink bleeds into the new print. You spend 14 agonizing hours a day hunched over a steaming plastic vat, breathing toxic fumes that burn the lining of your lungs. Your fingertips are permanently numb. You get paid 20 cents for every blank sheet you produce. You wash thousands of bills. Nobody sees the chemical burns on your forearms. Nobody thanks you for the flawless canvas. You are just a janitor working in reverse. Level 2. The offset operator. You're 23. The floorboards vibrate violently under the sheer mechanical force of a stolen, four-color Heidelberg offset printing press. The machine weighs 5,000 pounds and dominates the abandoned warehouse in New Jersey. You don't scrub paper anymore. You run the machine. The noise is an absolutely deafening, rhythmic clack, clack, clack that echoes in your teeth. You are printing the background layers of the fake $100 bills. The margin of error is 0. You have to align the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black ink plates down to the microscopic millimeter. If the registration is off by a fraction of a human hair, Benjamin Franklin's face looks blurry, and the bill is entirely useless. You adjust the heavy steel dials, your hands stained permanently black with lithographic ink. A gear jams. The paper feeder misaligns, crushing a stack of 50 bleached sheets into the rollers. You have to shut down the massive press, grab a pair of tweezers, and painstakingly pull the shredded cotton out of the gears while the boss watches you. He is a man who breathes heavily through his nose and taps a loaded 9mm against his leg. You don't panic. You don't sweat. You fix the jam in complete silence. You hit the green start button. The machine roars back to life. You print $1 million in an afternoon. You are paid a flat rate of $1,500. The math is insulting, but the machinery is beautiful. Level 3. The security threader. You're 27. The ambient temperature in the clean room is perfectly maintained at 68 degrees. You are no longer dealing with the messy, loud offset presses. You are dealing with the paranoid, microscopic details that separate amateur hour from a federal crisis. You are faking the security features. The modern $100 bill has a woven security thread that glows pink under ultraviolet light, and a watermark of Franklin's face embedded directly into the paper. You cannot print these. You have to forge them. You take 2 ultra-thin sheets of the washed paper. You use an industrial hydraulic press to sandwich a micro-printed synthetic mylar thread between them. Then you use a customized chemical etching stamp to bruise the cotton fibers, creating the illusion of a watermark when held up to the light. It is exhausting, obsessive, maddening work. You sit under a magnifying glass for 10 hours straight, pressing the paper. A mistake means the thread peels apart in a cashier's hand, bringing the entire weight of the Treasury Department down on your operation. You drink black coffee. Your eyes are bloodshot and dry. You slide the finished sheets into a drying rack. They look perfect. They feel perfect. But you know they are a lie. The deception is consuming your entire life. Level 4. The Intaglio Engraver. You're 32. The copper plates sit on the heavy oak desk, gleaming under the high-intensity halogen lamp. Real United States currency is not printed. It is pressed using a process called Intaglio. The government uses massive pressure to force the paper directly into engraved steel plates, creating raised ink that you can physically feel with your fingernail. That tactile sensation, the rough texture of Franklin's coat, is the very first thing a bank teller checks. You have to replicate it. You sit with a jeweler's loupe pressed to your eye, holding a micro-engraving tool. You spend 3 straight weeks carving the intricate, microscopic lines of the Declaration of Independence into a copper plate. Your hand cramps, your vision blurs. You use nitric acid to bite into the metal, deepening the grooves. You run a test print on a manual, hand-cranked intaglio press. You pull the paper back. You run your thumb over the collar of the portrait. You feel the ridges. The ink stands up off the paper. It is a masterpiece of illicit engineering. You have just successfully counterfeited the tactile signature of the Federal Reserve. You look at the fake bill. You feel absolutely no joy. You only feel the crushing, paranoid weight of knowing that you just elevated your crime from a standard felony to a direct attack on the sovereign economy of the United States. Before we go further, if you've made it this far, comment what career you want to see next. Hit that like button right now and subscribe. We upload 6 videos over a 6-day period. Level 5. The passer, the stress test. You're 36. The neon lights of the Las Vegas casino floor reflect off the polished marble tiles. You aren't in the lab today. You are the quality control mechanism. The syndicate requires a field test before they buy the batch wholesale. You are wearing a tailored suit, standing at the high-limit blackjack table. Your heart rate is holding steady at 130 beats per minute, but your face is a perfectly relaxed mask. You have 10 fake $100 bills mixed perfectly into a stack of genuine cash. You place a $1,500 bet. You push the stack of bills across the green felt. The dealer, a woman with exhausted eyes, picks up the cash. She doesn't just count it. She picks up a counterfeit detection pen, the iodine swab that turns black on regular printer paper but stays yellow on real currency. You used washed bills, so the paper is real. The pen swipes yellow. You don't exhale yet. She holds the bills up to the harsh overhead light to check the watermark. She sees the bruised paper. She nods. She drops the money into the lockbox and deals the cards. You play 3 hands. You lose intentionally. You walk away from the table, your back covered in cold sweat. You just defeated the casino's primary defenses. You walk out into the dry desert air. You don't feel victorious. You feel like a mouse who just successfully stole cheese from a trap that is still fully armed. Level 6, the color shifter, OVI specialist. You're 41. The chemical laboratory hidden in the back of an industrial park in Atlanta smells of metallic powder and heavy solvents. The Treasury Department upgraded the currency. They introduced OVI, optically variable ink. The number 100 in the bottom right corner of the bill shifts from copper to green when you tilt it. It is a highly classified proprietary ink made with microscopic flakes of magnetic metal, exclusively manufactured by a single company in Switzerland. You cannot steal it. You have to synthesize a visual counterfeit. You spend 6 months experimenting with automotive paints, crushed mica powder, and heavy metal pigments. You mix toxic chemicals in unventilated rooms. Your skin constantly breaks out in chemical rashes. The cartel is losing patience. They threaten to cut your fingers off if you don't crack the color shift by the end of the month. You finally find the exact ratio of suspended metallic flakes in a clear polymer base. You tilt the printed bill under the light. It shifts from copper to green. It isn't perfect, but it is close enough to fool a tired cashier at a big box retail store. You hand the batch to the cartel enforcer. He doesn't say thank you. He just demands 100,000 more by Friday. Your genius just bought you a heavier chain. Level 7. The plant manager. You're 46. The industrial warehouse is heavily soundproofed, but the low subsonic rumble of 3 automated presses running simultaneously vibrates right through the soles of your shoes. You don't touch the ink anymore. You manage the entire factory. You oversee 20 workers, massive shipments of chemicals, and a weekly output of $4 million in counterfeit currency. You are a ghost. You don't have a bank account, a driver's license, or a phone in your own name. The paranoia is absolute, suffocating, and constant. You have military-grade thermal cameras mounted on the roof. You sit in an air-conditioned office, staring at a wall of security monitors. You see a white, unmarked utility van park across the street. It sits there for 4 hours. Nobody gets out. The hair on your arms stands up. You know what it is. The Secret Service uses mobile stingray devices to sweep for cellular signals and directional microphones to listen for the specific acoustic signature of heavy printing presses. You have 2 options: panic, run, and guarantee a raid, or stay perfectly still, shut down the presses, and wait them out. You hit the kill switch. The factory goes dead silent. You sit in the dark for 12 hours, barely breathing, watching the monitors. At 4 a.m., the van drives away. You survive another day. The stress is carving deep lines into your face. Level 8. The Wholesale Distributor. You're 51. The private room of the high-end steakhouse in Miami is swept for electronic bugs twice a day. You are the architect of the distribution network. Producing the fake money is only half the battle. Selling it without getting caught is the true art. You move the product in massive bulk. You sell the counterfeit hundreds for 30 cents on the dollar to transnational drug cartels, Russian syndicates, and deep web brokers. You only accept payment in untraceable cryptocurrency or physical gold. The man sitting across from you is a logistics officer for the Sinaloa cartel. He drinks sparkling water and looks at his encrypted phone. The last batch had a flawed security ribbon, he says softly. The blue 3D thread didn't move correctly. 3 of our mules were arrested in Texas. The Secret Service's newest defense, a micro-optic blue ribbon woven into the paper, is a nightmare to fake. You look at the cartel officer. You don't apologize. You slide a heavy leather briefcase across the table. It contains $2 million of the newly perfected batch, utilizing micro lenses you had custom manufactured in a shadow factory in Shenzhen. The cartel officer inspects the blue ribbon. The tiny bells shift into hundreds as he tilts the paper. He nods. You walk out of the restaurant. You are no longer just a counterfeiter. You are a central pillar of the global shadow economy. Level 9, the target. You're 58. The encrypted laptop on your desk is pinging with urgent, terrifying alerts. The net is finally closing. The Secret Service, working in a joint task force with the FBI and Interpol, has captured your primary distributor in a sting operation in Europe. He flipped. He gave them the encrypted communication logs. He gave them the approximate location of the printing plant. You are staring at the monitors in your warehouse. You see the black SUVs rolling down the industrial access road. You see the tactical teams stacking up outside the steel perimeter doors. The game is over. You don't have time to pack a bag. You don't have time to save the millions of dollars sitting on the wooden pallets. You have exactly 3 minutes to destroy the evidence. You walk over to the heavy steel safe. You pull out the master intaglio plates, the physical manifestation of your entire life's work, a masterpiece of illicit engineering. You place them in a ceramic crucible. You ignite a block of magnesium thermite directly on top of the plates. The chemical fire burns at 4,000 degrees, instantly melting the steel into a glowing puddle of useless slag. The flash blinds you. The tactical battering ram hits the front door with a concussive boom. You sit in your leather chair, watching the door buckle. You don't run. You just watch the plates melt. You destroy the architecture of the crime. Level 10. The ghost. You're 64. The concrete walls of the federal penitentiary are painted a dull, institutional gray. You are serving a 25-year sentence for the manufacturing and distribution of counterfeit United States obligations. You work in the prison library. You earn 12 cents an hour. You wear a faded khaki uniform. You sit at a metal table looking out a narrow window at the razor wire glittering in the afternoon sun. A young inmate, a kid who got caught printing fake 20s on a commercial inkjet printer, approaches you. He knows your reputation. He knows you are the legend, the man who almost broke the Treasury. He pulls a genuine, crisp $100 bill out of his shoe and hands it to you. He asks you to tell him how to beat the blue 3D security ribbon. You take the bill. You run your thumb over Franklin's textured collar. You tilt the paper, watching the copper ink shift to green. You hold it up to the fluorescent light, seeing the watermark. It is a flawless, beautiful, mathematically perfect piece of security engineering. You don't feel the thrill of the chase anymore. You don't feel the adrenaline. You look at the kid. You hand the bill back to him. You sit in the absolute crushing silence of the prison block, realizing that you spent 40 years of your life obsessing over a piece of paper, trying to perfectly copy a system that was always designed to lock you in a cage. You didn't beat the system. The system simply waited for you to make one microscopic mistake. You were never the architect. You were just the printer. The silence never knew your name. That was always the point.